You are listening to Blue Please here on CynicalBrit.com with myself, Total Biscuit, and it would appear that we're going to need to get the pound out in the freaking cam chat right now. We have animals all over the place. That is one kick-ass dog. Just look at that beautiful motherfucking dog. Yes. That is an awesome dog. I actually have a cat over here. Probably not all that interested in coming to say hello, but you never know, it might. Here, cat. Come entertain the public. Aha! Yes, there we go. Ah, excellent. We have a cat, we shall cast with the cat. I'm going to put the cat on the shoulder. There we go. Ha. Right. No. It's not fun, honestly. Never mind. It used to do a parrot act, but it doesn't really anymore. I think it's become a little bit depressing, or depressed, or depressive in its old age. Whatever. Right, okay. Let us talk about something else. Unbelievable. Shows have multiple topics now. It's a wonderful, crazy world of technology we live in. What I will say, regarding topics, that you can email in for the Cataclysm Q&A at the end of the show. Yes, email in themurloc@cynicalbrit.com or themurloc@gmail.com, whichever you prefer. Both are good, both work. Get your questions in for the Cataclysm Q&A at the end of the show, and answer whatever you have, or try to, as long as it's Cataclysm related. Yes. Guild leveling. Let's talk about that, shall we? Why not? So, Blizzard made a rather shock announcement that I was not aware of, and a lot of other people weren't either. It's a very small little post. It's in regards to leveling speed, the guild leveling speed. A lot of different things. And here's what they said. Before I go on to that, actually, I'll say a little bit about what they are talking about here, which is what is actually gaining you experience at the moment in the beta and what is not. And by experience, I'm talking about guild experience. A lot of people have been very confused about guild experience as well as guild rep. So, here is what is apparently currently giving experience. There are some stuff that's not active yet. Yeah? Like, rated battlegrounds is not active yet. And also, a lot of dungeons are not giving guild experience right now. But all dungeons going back to Classic will gain guild experience. Guild experience gained from bosses is based on the boss's level and is modified by things like the number of players in your party or raid, and if the encounter is heroic or not. Which means that if you're going back and farming, say, Ragefire Chasm as a level 85, you're not going to be earning all that much guild experience. It's not currently working for rated battlegrounds because they're not in the beta yet, but it will earn it from rated battlegrounds. And it's currently not being given out for achievements. Apparently that's being implemented very soon, and guild achievements will give a large amount of experience, and for this reason apparently they do not respect the daily cap. So, if you use your achievements correctly, you can actually exceed the daily experience cap for your guild. Interesting. You gain experience for questing, as you might imagine. And apparently, as far as reputation gain goes, this is according to Blizzard, you need to remember that rep gain is based on your guild XP contribution. As you can see from my notes above, you currently only have, at the moment in the beta, one way to contribute, which is questing. But you're going to be able to contribute in a wide variety of different ways. They are not specific as to whether or not you can contribute via crafting and things like that. I would think so. That's what they claimed initially back at BlizzCon 2009. I don't know if they've kept that in. I hope that they have. Okay. Now that's good, but what is not good is the last post in this. This is by a blue poster called Mumper, which I've never heard of before, but hey, there you go. Shout out to Mumper. There is no concept of top 20 contributors anymore. We changed that functionality many months ago, and experience contributed to the guild comes from all members. Guild rep is always available no matter how much you have contributed to the guild. Oh, that's bad. That is not good at all, is it? Here's the thing. That encourages Zerg guilding. Lots of Zerg guilding. Massive, great, stonking, huge Zerg guilds. The problem with that is that you can get not a huge amount, but you can get some competitive edge by being in a stonking, great, huge guild. Now, a lot of the really competitive guilds are quite small. They're not all that large because it's much easier to organize big, crazy raiding when you have the right number of members available at any given time, as opposed to having to pick from 500 members. Now, the problem with this is, well, the main problem, as far as I'm concerned with this, is not guild reputation, because that doesn't really matter. You gain that individually. It's guild experience and guild perks. So, if you remember what the guild perks had, I can probably bring that up for you, tell you exactly what it is. Here it is. So, there are a number of things that are very useful to raiders, and could in fact accelerate the rate at which you gain both gear and raid progression. So if we have a look through it, fast track doesn't matter, mount up doesn't matter, Mr. Popularity potentially could matter, because there could be some stuff at Exalted Rep. So Mr. Popularity could help in a raid environment. Cash flow doesn't really matter. Fast track, again, doesn't matter. Reinforce is kind of nice, but it's not a major deal. And you get 10% less durability loss when you die. That means you basically get one more wipe before you have to fix it. But considering the number of things that you have to do anyway, in order to... you've got loads of different ways to fix your stuff now, so it's irrelevant. Chug-a-lug, that's kind of useful. That's the duration of all buffs from guild cauldrons and feasts increased by 50%. It's useful for raiding. It's not ideal, but it is useful. Mobile banking, nobody cares. Honorable mention, nobody cares. Working overtime, nobody cares. Quicken the Dead is handy. And that, along with Mass Resurrection at the end, actually speeds up the time it takes to recover from a wipe. It increases the health and mana gain when resurrected by a guild member by 50%, increases movement speed while dead by 100%. So it makes running back very quick, and it also makes rezzing up and getting ready for a fight again very quick, so you can save time. But here are the big, big things. So you can... Everyone's a hero. Rank 1 and 2 actually increase your heroism points gained by 5 or 10%. Now, of course, heroism is not the same as conquest. So it's not like you're going to be getting uber gear really, really quickly. But it will help a little bit in terms of plugging gaps. So the fact that there even exists such a blatant advantage to being in a Zerg guild, and by Zerg guild, what do I mean? I just mean a large guild that just invites loads and loads of people to it. You don't really have to do anything. That's the problem. You don't have to be good at the game in order to contribute guild experience. Guild experience is contributed by doing very, very simple tasks. And it boosts your level up quite significantly. Now, the way that this is going to work, if at all, is if they balance the cap correctly. So there is a cap on how much you can get, but that cap can be broken by guild achievements. Yeah? The question is, how much XP do those guild achievements actually give you? It's difficult to tell because right now, of course, the beta is not properly balanced and it's not finalized. But if you're gaining large chunks of guild experience from, say, the Critter quest, then one has to wonder what Blizzard is really thinking about there. I'm hoping they will restrict the experience boosts to things that actually matter. Like, say, the Glory of the Cataclysm Raider achievement, or some of the really good PvP achievements. I would expect that to give a lot of experience. I would not expect the Criticalism, or the Critter Course, as I like to call it, to give you any freaking XP at all. Because that's just dumb. Why would you receive rewards for doing something so silly? And it gains you actual advantages in raiding. Thankfully, they're not massive, but they do help. Stuff like Half Group Will Travel. Summons all radar party members to the caster's current location. 2-hour cooldown on that, but it's still kind of helpful. Chug-a-lug rank 2. Things like that, that's very helpful. Happy Hour. Hell, even Bountiful Bags when you think about it. If you're trying to mine and if there are rare materials and things within raid dungeons, Bountiful Bags increases the quantity of materials gained from mining, skinning, herbalism, and disenchanting by 15%. One assumes if there is craftable gear that is desirable for raiding, as there has been through every expansion, then, again, that's an advantage. So it's balancing the cap, really. Now, this is not the only problem I've really got with the fact that they've taken out the top 20 contributors thing. I thought the top 20 contributors was entirely reasonable. It's like, it doesn't matter how big your guild is, as long as you have like 10 or 20 active people, then you're good to go. But it's an awkward balance, isn't it, when you think about it? Because this is a potential situation where Blizzard is damned if they do and damned if they don't. So, let's just say, for instance, we're going for top 10 contributors. Yeah? Top 10 contributors. Gives an advantage, or does it? Does it give an advantage to people that only have a small guild? Not necessarily. because those people are still going to have to be doing their best in order to contribute. For instance, in a larger guild, if you have, say, 50 members, then it takes the 10 best, or the 20 best. And that's a very good thing. Why is that a very good thing, you might ask? Well, the answer should be fairly obvious. It's the same reason why, say, America is very good at international sporting events. Because they have a lot of people, and they have a culture of sports. So, what you do is you can take the best from a larger pool of people, as opposed to, say, Liechtenstein, that doesn't have all that many in comparison. It's the simple law of averages. If you've got more people, you're likely to have more people that are also above average and awesome. Whereas in a 10 to 12 person guild, not so much. Now, it's not to say a 10 to 12 person guild couldn't keep up under those rules. Absolutely, they could. No doubt about that. But that doesn't mean they're any good at it. Which I think is a little bit more important. It's not necessarily the case that they're going to be as good as a 50 or 60 person guild. And one might say that discourages larger guilds. Well, I think there are a lot of things that already discourage larger guilds. The organization factor being a very significant one of those. And think about it for a second. Organizing a large guild and maintaining a large guild and doing the whole logistical thing and the management thing is really hard. It's actually really challenging. It's tricky. It's difficult. That's a bit of a problem, isn't it, when you think about it? I've managed large guilds before, and as it turns out, it looks like I'm managing a large guild again, because, yes, the Troll Guild, trollface.jpg, will be a large guild, because I'm not going to restrict who can join it. But I will be, 1, kicking out idiots, and 2, restricting the people that get to raid with me. People are going to have to accept that. And yeah, it probably will be a 500-person Troll Guild. And yeah, there's going to be organization problems there, and I'm going to have to make sure that that's all sorted out, but I mean, it's a big headache, and honestly, I'll be getting people to help me manage that, but most people don't want to handle that kind of nonsense. Why would they? Why would they want to handle the nonsense of organizing a 500-person guild? Think about that for a second. It's silly. In this case, I really don't agree with Blizzard's view on this at all. Their idea, I also don't agree with the fact that they snuck it out of there. It's like they ran out the back door with it. God, it's like Blizzard stole a goddamn television. Pretty horrendous when you think about it. They snuck out the back door with the 20-person top 20 limit and didn't tell anybody until, like, now, which is, supposedly we are, what, a month and a half from release, if BB's estimation is correct, which it may very well be. So now it's a little bit too late, maybe, to say to them, "Oi, Blizzard, now? What's going on with this? What are you doing?" That's silly, isn't it? I don't know what you think about that. It's difficult. It is tricky. You know, I'm going to put a poll up because I feel like it. Something that... Well, let me do a quick poll. Okay, let's see. It was like a quick Twitter poll thing, wasn't there? I'll put up a poll over the course of the break. I like to see what you guys actually think about this. A quick sample of the community. And I'll also let people that listen to the podcast vote. I want to know if you think whether or not the 10 or 20-person top 20 limit is actually valid. Should it be in the game, or should Blizzard have actually taken it out? It's tricky. It's such a difficult subject. Because you really can't go one way or the other without favouring one thing over another. I mean, people are already saying that 25-man is dead, which is nonsense, I might add, because you do get more stuff in a 25-man guild. 25-man guilds are still the optimum way to raid. But do you want to raid in a 25-man guild? Because there used to be a deterrent to raiding in a 10-man guild. But the thing is, I said this before. If 25-man raiding can't survive on the basis solely of it being 25-man raiding, and the enjoyment factor given by 25-man raiding, then 25-man raiding is a dead format and should be destroyed. It should be gotten rid of, because it's not what people want to do. And if it is what people want to do, then why should we have to reward people for that? It's the same... It's a silly argument, but I suppose it then comes down to this. This change sort of sways people in the direction of one guild or another, and I have to wonder just how powerful a influence this is going to be. Whether or not people are going to group up in Zerg guilds, and whether or not large guilds of people doing very little at all should gain access to things before say, slimline, mean, lean, skilled raiding guilds. Well, I'm hoping that the guild cap will make sure that doesn't happen. That's all I can say. Hopefully they get the cap right, and then I suppose it'll be alright. We shall see. My name is Turtle Biscuit, so I'm told. And you're listening to the one and only Blue Please here on cynicalbrit.com. Ah, the wonders of music. What shall we play? So many good tracks on my list right now. I've got like a 12,000 track playlist at the moment. There are so many choices. I was thinking of playing some older Scar Symmetry because I like the new stuff, don't get me wrong, but at the end of the day, they had to replace their lead singer with 2 singers just to get the range that he had. That's how badass the original singer for Scar Symmetry actually was. So why don't I remind you of just how badass he was? And I'm going to play you something from the Pitch Black Progress album. And it's called Mind Machine. Enjoy.